What you are listening to is real. The participants are not actors. They are actual litigants with a case pending in the squared circle. Both parties have agreed to dismiss their cases and have their disputes settled here on our forum, the Turnbuckle Debate.
Hey everyone, welcome back to the Turnbuckle Debate. My name is Sneed.
I'm Chad.
And I am the OG Fig Kid, the staple of the Turnbuckle Debate.
The staple.
The staple. And, you know, I hear you guys talking on your podcast every Wednesday, saying I went into business for myself when you anointed me the staple in our text group chats. So I just want to put that out there.
Yeah, but when it came down to it, you took it upon yourself. Now you branded yourself on the show the staple.
Well, see, that's what happens when something happens organically and it's not scripted. You
Here's
take
my
it and you run with it, and it becomes a big thing.
Here's my favorite part about the whole thing is when he went through his spiel just now, he never once has even said his real name.
Oh, no.
He said, I'm the OG Fig Kid, the staple. Done. Nothing else.
Oh, yeah.
Okay,
That's all
I'm
you gotta
also. That's it. Why do you need anything else?
We don't. And I'm going to go ahead and introduce you as Taco Thomas Montalto. So that is your newest moniker. And if you want to change your name to that, feel free.
That's not. I'm the staple. I am not the Taco Tom.
It's good to be back. We haven't recorded with each other for a while.
Yeah,
I know. I've missed you guys.
Back catalog stuff dropping.
Yeah. But this is going to be our Wrestlemania because Mania just ended about an hour ago. And we thought we would make this a Mania-centric episode. So before we get into it, make sure you guys are following us on Turnbuckle Tavern on Instagram, Tbuckle Tavern on Twitter. Tom, where can they find your podcast?
You could... Oh, the Wrestling Fig Fed on Twitter and Instagram at Wrestling Fig Fed, and search it under podcasts. Any of you have favorite podcast platforms?
Awesome.
Yeah, and also go check us out on YouTube. We put the debate, the video to the debates up on YouTube now. So
in case you want to see our faces when we discuss,
Absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to see, you hear him all the time, but if you want to see the staple,
you gotta go to YouTube.
And you never know what I'm going to hold up to the camera and drop in just the middle of an episode.
Yeah, he might show off some LJNs. You never know.
You never know if Piper's sitting next to him. I know ET's not because you can see him in the back there.
Yeah, he's way back there chilling.
You can see him on Taco Tom's TV dinner stand.
That's not the name. It's the staple.
Taco Tom's TV dinner stand has made its entrance also.
It sounds like a food truck. Taco Tom's TV dinner stand.
Oh, there he is.
Speaking of Piper.
There he is. You know, and I'm glad that we're doing this at the top of the show because I really feel like we're having fun now, but I feel like once we hit this this first topic, I don't know how much fun it's going to be.
Yeah, I feel like I've been through a war that I lost the last two nights.
Yeah,
it's just two nights I'll never get back.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of WWE marks are going to be pretty mad at us tonight.
That's probably true. So
put your helmet on, boys and girls, because it's going to be a bumpy ride.
Sorry, not sorry.
Yeah, we might as well get right into our first topic of the evening. And this is just overall opinion of WrestleMania, good, bad, and different. How do you feel about it?
Bad.
Bad. I was bad. It's just bad. I can't even try and say indifferent.
Bad.
It was just the build up to it was terrible. I wasn't invested at all. I wasn't connected. I wasn't looking forward to anything. It didn't pay off. The very beginning when Vince came out and everybody on stage, I'm like, okay, this kind of feels like Mania, and then it just crashed. It was over at that point.
And Tom, set up for the listeners that may not have listened all the way in our back catalog. You are a lifelong diehard WWE fan. I mean,
I am. I haven't stopped watching since I was a kid. Like even now, I still watch Raw and SmackDown. Like I still punish myself, and I sit there, and I don't remember a time where I've ever been this disconnected from the product. And I don't know whether it's because I'm into AEW now. I don't know. I mean, I feel like just watching Mania, like the whole two titles thing is just really getting to me. Like, how special is it that Bianca Belair won the SmackDown Women's title and not the WWE Women's title? It's just watered down. It doesn't. It's just I'm just so out of it right now, and I don't know. Like I'm kind of hoping, okay, like the optimist in me is hoping with the Mania after Raw tomorrow they'll do something to reset, because it's always usually a great Raw. But what are they going to do at this point to try and save it? I don't know. I mean, I'm still going to watch Raw and SmackDown every week. I'm still going to punish myself. I'm still going to watch the pay-per-views, but I'm just so disconnected right now.
And before me and Sneed, because our listeners probably know me and Sneed are very much on the AEW bandwagon, have been from the beginning. We are also lifelong WWE fans, but we've kind of backslid in our WWE fandom because we don't like the booking of the last several years.
Well, they're not giving us anything.
No, but before we lay into this, all three of us, and really start going into what we thought about it, were there any positives? Were there positives that you guys liked?
I mean,
There
my
were
favorite
fans there.
Yeah, fans being back was nice. My favorite match was Sasha versus Bianca. I thought that was actually a really well done match. And other than that, like other matches I was looking forward to Kevin Owens versus Sami Zayn, and I felt like they just rushed it. They could have put on an awesome match, and I just felt like they weren't given a chance to. Like they were given a short amount of time. You know, that
I
could have
thought
been
there were
nice.
several decent. I thought Bianca and Sasha, good match. I thought the triple threat match, even though I don't like triple threats, I thought it was a good match. I even thought the Sheamus Riddle match was very stiff and snug, like I like my matches. It was a good match. The fans being back was great. The pageantry of seeing WrestleMania in a stadium again with the fireworks and was great. Although I don't think we saw many WrestleMania type entrances where they put a little extra into it. I mean, we saw the Fiend entrance, which was kind of a WrestleMania entrance, but here's the thing. Yeah, those matches, there were good matches, but I didn't give a shit about any of it.
Exactly.
I was, like you said, Tom, I was not invested. People were wanting Bianca and Sasha to main event. They thought it was main event worthy. I don't think it was. And everyone's going to give me shit for that because of the historical importance of it. Like it's great that two black females headlined a Mania. That's awesome. Just two black pro wrestlers headlined. That's awesome. But strip away the history. Strip away it being a good match with what's the story? Main events to me, it's not about work rate. It's not about who has the best match. A main event of a WrestleMania should be the best fucking story, period. And their build up and their story sucked. And I'm not shitting on the history that was made with them main eventing and Bianca winning the title. I didn't have a problem with that. I think she probably needs that title more than Sasha. So that makes sense to me to give her that belt. But it didn't matter. The story sucked. I didn't care. It was essentially both of them being like, I'm the boss, and the other one going, I'm the EST. And that was the entire thing of that buildup.
See,
who gives a shit?
I disagree with you a little bit here because at least it was the Royal Rumble winner picking the match. Like, so that was the significance of it. And they did have a little bit. I mean, the buildup was weak, but it was one of the better buildups compared to some of the other stuff that was on the show. And honestly, I disagree. I think it would have meant more for Sasha to win at this point and cement her legacy and actually finally winning a big match at Mania. And
Yeah,
Bianca's
she's
so young.
0-6.
Bianca still has her chance. I thought it would have really been bigger for Sasha to win at this point. I didn't think they needed to put the belt on Bianca Belair yet. So that's.
I think her being young, though, with her and Rhea both winning, those belts mean more to younger talent. They're going to make those pro wrestlers seem more important to the casual fan, where Sasha and Asuka, they've had those belts for a long time. We know how good they are. They're main eventers. I think those titles solidified both Bianca and Rhea. But again, both of those matches, the build sucked. The story wasn't there. I wasn't invested in either one. And both of those matches, to me too, there was no clear-cut heel or face. I wasn't pulling for either one because I didn't feel like, who am I supposed to pull for here? It was very like gray and middle of the road and no black and white, heel and baby face. I don't know. I didn't like it.
Here was one of my problems with the whole thing. So first of all, didn't need to be 2 nights. Did not need to be 2 nights. I think that takes a lot away from the pageantry of it, because it's just breaking it up. Like one night, WrestleMania is one night. That's what it is. It's not, I mean, there's a WrestleMania weekend, but the WrestleMania event itself should be one night. I hate that it's 2 nights.
I agree.
Second of all, we had no surprises.
Nope.
None.
0 oh shit moments. None.
And
This is Mania. This is WrestleMania, man.
Yeah.
We had nothing. No.
They didn't give us anything.
At no point was I like, oh, okay, that's cool. Never.
Yeah, I didn't pop for one thing these last 2 nights. Not one thing. Like imagine it just in a women's tag team gauntlet match if they just put Charlotte and Becky in it. Surprise. At least
there was no oh shit moment where you jump out of your chair like, oh there was none of that. And some of the matches felt just like you said, Tom, rushed. Some of them, like the Fiend at Orton, that match was what, 5 minutes?
Wow, that was bad. And the way it ended, that was just terrible. Oh, what a way. Like, you bring the guy back and you just ruin the whole thing. You just buried it.
Yeah,
the Fiend is done. He's done now. I can't even see how they go and rescue it again.
Why did they take away the burnt Fiend? Why didn't they just leave that?
I thought the Swamp Monster was kind of a joke. I wasn't really digging that either, but I mean, it would have been different at least. They could have left him like that for a while.
Yeah, and the whole thing, it's just not like you said, Tom. I said in the group chat tonight, the Pod Foundation group chat, go follow Pod Foundation on Instagram and Twitter. But I said in that, it's like it feels like they have to do something drastic to keep the Fiend going. There needs to be a shakeup. There needs to be a complete game changer that happens with the Fiend, or he's just done.
But they tried it. They tried it and they buried it. Like, it's done now. They tried it with the Burnt Fiend. It is they come back and they just ruined it in the first 5 minutes of night 2 at WrestleMania.
And he gets beat because there's black goo running down Alexa Bliss's face, and it
one RKO. It was only one RKO. This guy gets up from anything, and all of a sudden, the one RKO, boom, pin, 1, 2, 3. Who booked that? Like, how does that?
Yeah, how many curb stomps did he take from Seth Rollins in that Hell in a Cell and kept kicking out? And one RKO takes him out. Okay, I like when you give weight to a finisher and an RKO, no one kicks out of it. You know what I mean? Like, it's a very protected finish. But when you've already established that the Fiend's kicked out of like 10 or 11 curb stomps from Seth Rollins, to me, one RKO taking out this supercharged, burnt up Fiend character, that it completely delegitimizes the curb stomp. Now that finisher doesn't mean a damn thing to me. There's no consistency in the storytelling. Like one RKO here, complete. They forget that all of these other finishers from one of your top guys, Seth Rollins, couldn't do job. So why does one RKO do the job? Does that mean Randy's so much better than Seth? Like, I know it's pro wrestling, but you got to have consistency in those type of things, or it makes nothing fucking matter.
But Vince doesn't think his fans are smart enough to remember what happened 6 months ago.
And that's
or
the
a year ago.
problem.
Yes, that's a major problem. Respect your fans at least. You know, show them that you at least think they're smart, and they don't do that. It's terrible.
Yeah, I don't know.
I mean, I think that the match of tonight, I actually think was Sheamus versus Matt Riddle. I wasn't even looking forward to that match, but I thought they did a really good job, like you said.
Yeah, that brogue kick was nice. To
yeah.
finish the match, I thought that was nice.
I didn't even think the triple threat match was as good as Daniel Bryan versus Roman Reigns at Fastlane.
Well, it didn't.
That was a better.
It didn't need to be a triple threat.
No, that's exactly the thing. When you put Daniel Bryan in the match, what was the purpose of even doing that if you're going to have Roman go over both of them? Like, what? I thought it was to get somebody over without ruining Roman Reigns or something, but no, they didn't even do that.
Well,
you could save Edge. It just made no sense.
Yeah, I didn't mind Roman going over like that. It didn't bother me because to me, it's like there's a sick part of me that's like, dude, he should not lose until he faces The Rock at whatever Mania it's going to be. And even at that point, when he faces The Rock, I think Roman should beat The Rock. And then you build this monster. And then when you have someone to beat Roman, then you make a guy. Then you have two top stars. You've got this unbeatable heel who's just won for like 2 years in a row. And then he beats The Rock at Mania, and then you bring in some, I don't know who it could be, but some young talent, probably already on the roster, whoever they choose to finally beat Roman, when he does that, it's going to be massive. So I didn't have a problem with that. But this is going to make me sound like a total AEW homer, but there wasn't one match on this 2-night Mania event that I thought held a candle to almost any AEW Dynamite main event in 2021.
Yeah,
I agree with that.
I agree. There were no quality, like no oh my god matches, like nothing even close.
AEW main event, Dynamite main events for 2021 have been on fire.
Yep.
Like every high excitement, and they feel important because the stories going into these main events typically have some weight behind them. So shit feels like it's on the line. And there wasn't one match over the last 2 nights in Mania that made me feel like Thunder Rosa versus Britt Baker. Yeah. There wasn't any that made me feel like, the Bucks, the 6-man tags we've seen with Rey Fenix and those guys. There's none. And this is Mania, man. This isn't a regular pay-per-view. It felt like a regular. It didn't even feel like a pay-per-view.
No, it felt like a Raw.
Yeah,
just thrown together. Yep, I agree. And here's the other thing: like you had the triple threat match, and you could have had Edge go over, given everybody a moment, and still protect Roman Reigns because he didn't have to pin. He didn't have to get pinned. And then you have Roman come back and beat Edge in a couple of months or at SummerSlam, and he could still be that dominant because he didn't. That whole thing didn't happen. Now here's the other thing. Like I'm thinking, okay, everybody's thinking we have the chance of an invasion with AEW. We don't. That's never happening. But let's just say it did, and their world champion comes in, and you have 2 world champions on WWE because you have 2 separate shows. Like it just makes no sense having 2 champions in one promotion. 2 world champions, 2 women's champions, it makes 0 sense at all.
Now my problem.
Like you need to have one top guy. You need to have one. That way you have the one main event for one world title that's going to be like, okay, here's the world title match.
Right. I hate that the belts are tied to television shows.
It's so stupid.
I hate that it's the Raw world title. It's the SmackDown Universal title. How about WWE world title and WWE Universal title? Why is TV shows in the belt name? I don't.
I'm gonna cut you off right there, Chad. Because you just gave a perfect segue to our next topic. Were there too many title changes? that was a perfect segue because does it matter? There are too many belts.
Right. You don't have too many title changes if you don't have too many belts.
Well, here's the thing. Was there too many title changes? Who gives a shit? None of it mattered.
Exactly.
So I don't
that's what I'm
care
saying,
that like it's not that, man, there were too many title changes, or man, there wasn't enough time. I didn't care either way. It was just like
story. They're not telling any story, and they have no story with the belts. And you said it perfectly. They're tied to the brands of TV shows.
TV show.
That's so terrible, man.
Yep. You can't have two top titles in one promotion.
That's why the tag titles are an afterthought in WWE.
Every title's an afterthought. Every
I'll be
title's
honest,
an afterthought.
I don't know who. Okay, I know AJ and the big dude almost, or they won the one of the tag belts, right?
Yep.
And I don't even know off the top of my head. I don't know who the SmackDown tag title champs are.
It's laughable, man.
It's Ziggler and Bobby Roode, yeah.
Okay, I guess.
Which they retained on WrestleMania SmackDown. Like they didn't even put them on the main show.
There's too many fucking belts, man.
There's two that they're just
four
props.
There's 4 different tag team champions. 2 women, 2 men.
There's only one woman, right?
Well, NXT has their own now.
Oh yeah, NXT now, yeah.
But at least the women on the main roster, they only have one. I mean, it's already like they don't even have real competitors for that. They're just throwing people together. The one team they did have, the Iconics, they broke them up, and they're doing nothing with Peyton Royce now, so that made no sense. Like, what's going on over there? Like, they just don't think. They're just not putting things on paper. Like
they are not booking good stories. And when I bitch, this is never about the talent.
Right.
I love some of their wrestlers, man. Like, they have the best roster in any wrestling company on the planet Earth. But you could have an Attitude Era roster, you know, with Rock, Stone Cold, Triple H, Mankind, all of these just legends. You could have all of that. But if the booking is dog shit, it doesn't matter.
Right.
Nope.
No, their roster is super stacked right now.
Stacked.
Like it's a shame these guys are being wasted like that. It's a total shame.
It's ridiculous, man. I
mean,
mean,
Riddle's a joke like that. I mean, the guy could wrestle when they actually like tonight was probably his best match since coming up from NXT. But his character, it's like, what are you doing?
Silly ass horseshit is what Riddle's character is. Like, why is everything a joke?
Yeah.
Why is everything a fucking joke? Can we not have anything serious besides Roman Reigns?
Like the spot that he had with Great Khali
and RVD.
Yeah.
Like, they just go for these cheap little chuckle pops. Like, RVD, he's a stoner and Riddle's a stoner. Let's have him give RVD rolling papers to him. Okay, that's cool, but is everything just a cheap little silly ass pop? Man,
it's
infuriating to me.
People talk about high spot fatigue and they get on the AEW for high spots and things like that. I have belt fatigue with WWE. It wears me out when they have it. I'm serious, man. It wears me out when there's a US title match, Intercontinental title match, Universal title match,
Cruiserweight match,
women's tag team match, Raw women's title match, SmackDown women's title. Come on, man.
And you're
for the love of God, stop with that. Get them out of there. Combine them.
You're right.
Have 3 belts, 4 belts.
They're not smart enough to realize
4 is almost too much. I'm saying that just because they have 12 right now.
Right.
They don't realize they
cut
could
it down a third. Jesus Christ.
Book 2 television shows a week, and you have just one title for each level, and you could still have not guys on every show because you have somebody cut a promo on Raw. Then a champion comes out and responds on SmackDown, and then you have a build-up when they actually get on a show together. Like they just don't think like that. I don't know why they think they need to have titles on everybody on every show. No, don't do it. NXT has proved it works better when you don't. AEW is sure as hell proved you don't need to have everybody on every week, whether it's your top star or not.
Right.
So
I just it. Oh man, you hear these fans that get hot at people for being critical, and I get it. If you're being negative for the sake of negative, it's like, man, I really don't want to be negative. I really want to love WWE. That's what I grew up on. I would love to tune in every Raw and SmackDown and just be engrossed with the storytelling. But I can't sit here and just be Mr. Positive. If it's shit, it's shit. And here's the thing, like the matches there were some good matches, but if there's no stakes, if I don't care, a match for the sake of a match is death to me. I don't want to just watch pro wrestling matches over. Like there's gotta be some level of importance. Especially at a Mania. Mania it's one thing if it's a throwaway Fastlane pay-per-view or something like that, but Mania is the culmination of the pro wrestling year. It's where everything where everything comes to a head. It's where everything you've been waiting on happens. And we said it going in, I was not excited for this WrestleMania. But like Sneed said, there were no surprises. Even me not being pumped for it, I'm like, okay, it's Mania. Something's going to happen to shock me. Something's going to like surprise me. And nothing happened. So when you gave me no holy shit moment, you gave me no surprise, you gave me none of that. And I see it just doesn't add up to me. And here's the thing. Everyone is hanging their hat on the moment Bianca Belair beat Sasha. That is the big story coming out of this WrestleMania.
Oh yeah.
Yep. There were no oh my god matches either. Like there were no matches that like if they put up somebody came out and had a match that blew us away, whatever, but there was no matches like that. I know you keep saying there were some good matches, but I can't even say there were some. They were
good. They were good. They would have been a good match on a SmackDown or a Raw.
Yeah, exactly.
They weren't like some monument. You know, when you think back in the history of WrestleMania, there's those matches that the TLC at WrestleMania 17, the Jericho Heartbreak Kid at WrestleMania 19, the Shawn Michaels Razor Ramon at WrestleMania 10, Macho Man Steamboat. You know, there's all these iconic matches you think back and like, man, that match. There was none of that on this. There was no match like that to me, for me, that is going to be like a historical landmark when you look back at this Mania years from now.
Not at all.
And like you said, my last point is we're not being negative because we want to be just shitting on a project. We're being negative because we want it to be better. Yeah. We want it to, and we're pointing out what we don't like. You know, and it's like this is what needs to be done to help draw people back in, and they're just not doing that. Like we want it to be good. We keep saying that. We love WWE. Yep. We want them to entertain us. We want to be able to like, oh, I can't wait to see next week's episode.
Well, like Chad said before, I mean, it's no secret that we are complete AEW marks. I mean, 100% AEW mark. But I didn't want to come on here. I would have liked to have come on here and been excited about what I was going to talk about.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
Well, here's the thing. Just because we love AEW doesn't mean we want to hate WWE. I want to love it all. I love NWA. I watch Impact every week and I enjoy Impact. I want to love all wrestling. I am not a flag in the sand. This is my company guy. I happen to enjoy AEW more than any company right now. But please God, if Raw was blowing away AEW, I would say it. I want to support every company and watch as much wrestling as I can and enjoy that. But I'm sorry, for lifelong WWE fans, I don't see how any fan who has been fans of WWE from day one for 20 plus years 30 plus years for us can watch today's product and not think that it's a complete downgrade of what this company has shown us in the past.
Well,
It
the
is
problem
not
is
as good.
they have forgotten how to tell a story. Somewhere in the mix, somewhere in whatever's gone on, they have forgotten how to tell a story. They used to be able to do it, and for whatever reason, it's not there. And you can argue with me up and down that they can tell a story, that there were stories told. There weren't. There are no stories. What they do is, instead of telling long-term booking and long-term storytelling, they throw a belt at it. That's it.
It's so true.
Yep, I agree.
And it's sad
It's very
because
sad.
Mania is just like, how, I don't know if you guys, I know we've talked about it, Chad, but like when you think about a certain time, you get a feeling of that time and like the excitedness of what when I think about like Mania 6 and Mania 7, like I have that feel, and even like
special.
Yeah, I agree. I'm the same way.
And 11, like all of that, like this
13, 14, 17, 20.
Well, the feeling that I'm going to get when I think back on this one is going to be like a secondhand embarrassment feeling.
It's like you had bad tacos.
What's that?
It's going to be like you had bad tacos when you think back to this one.
Yeah. I'll say this. So it was better than last year just because fans were there.
Yeah. I mean, that's not saying much.
It's not saying much.
That was a very high bar to set.
All right. So we will move on to the final topic because I'm tired of giving Mania any more of our time.
Yeah. I just hate being a negative prick, man. I really do. I do not get enjoyment out of shitting on Mania. I don't. I love Mania, and
it's
it honestly
WrestleMania.
bums me out.
No one wants to be a hater on WrestleMania.
It bums me out.
Listen, I watched it with this mind frame thinking, okay, I'm really going to look for the positives because I knew I was coming in against you two. And I came away with nothing. So I wanted to. I really, really wanted to.
Yeah.
So
it's tough. It's really tough.
Yeah.
Our final topic of the evening, on the heels of the Broken Skull session with Jericho, is, will anyone ever be able to have a career like Jericho ever again?
No. Jericho is just the man. He knows what he's doing. He's reinventing himself, being in a business for 30 years, and he's still one of the most relevant people in the business. And he's only getting better. Like he knows how to get people talking still. He did it for Mania. He tried to pump up Mania by putting out that picture with the jet in the background. Just he knows how to get people to talk. And all of his hashtags were about WWE and that. So he's trying to do them a favor. Like he knows what he's doing. He's done it his whole career. He's just got his finger on the pulse like nobody else has ever had. I've seen, especially for this long.
Yeah, I don't think anybody will have a career like him just because, I mean, he said it in the Broken Skull session. He's one of the last people that's going to have that 1 foot in the old school and 1 foot in the new school. That's true. The fact that he, he started at the end of the territory days and still got to learn how the territories work, where you go into a territory, you work your time, and then you go somewhere and reinvent yourself. And I think that's what made him the guy that he is today. And if he didn't have that, who knows? But the fact that there's nobody, and it's not on anybody else, it's just not the way it is now, but nobody's going to be able to have your 1 foot in the old school, 1 foot in the new.
I was going to say the same thing. Now, if we were talking about, can anyone have the success of Jericho and going to multiple companies now with AEW, someone could go from WWE, who has a great career there, go to AEW, have a great career, maybe go to New Japan, have a great career. They could jump around to multiple promotions like Jericho did, but like you said, the territory days will never be around. And the fact that he started at the tail end of that, He got to experience that. Then he went and worked with Onita in FMW in Japan. Then he went to Mexico and became a huge star. Then he went to ECW for a hot second. Then he went to WCW and got huge and over. Then he debuted on Raw with a massive pop. Had a 19-year run in WWE, having classics and reinventing himself. And then he leaves there, goes to New Japan, headlines the Tokyo Dome multiple times, helped the company start from nowhere when no one thought there would ever be another huge national promotion, and wins the belt for the first time there. And now he is the top guy in AEW. No one will ever do that. That no one will ever be able to say they were in kayfabe territory days, and now 30 years later, winning a world title in a hot new promotion that's
Yeah.
I mean, it'll never be duplicated.
Nope.
No,
It's
he
amazing.
Listening to him talk on the Broken Skull sessions was, I mean, you said it in a text. I mean, it definitely just solidifies how good that guy really is.
Yeah, I think there's an argument that he's the GOAT.
Yeah.
I mean,
I think there's a strong. I've been thinking that lately, like the last year, couple of years, maybe since AEW actually started, and he put it on his back and he just skyrocketed with it. Like he is the GOAT. He is. He beat The Rock and Stone Cold in one night, and he's still going with the top names today, and he can still do it at the level he always did. He hasn't lost a step. I was thinking today when I knew this was going to be the topic tonight of somebody I could try and compare him to. And the closest person I could come to is Ric Flair, but Ric Flair never reinvented himself. Ric Flair was always Ric Flair. You know, and the end of his career was he was holding on for too long. Jericho is going to get out when he knows it's time to go out, and he knows he can't be the Jericho that everybody loves. And he'll go on and he'll commentate, or he'll be involved as a manager, and he'll be great at what he does, because he went straight into just to prove he's the GOAT. When he went on Dynamite and he was doing a commentary, he was amazing. Like, he just sat down and he was friggin' amazing. I could listen to him do commentary anytime. Like his views are amazing. Like, there's nothing the guy can't do when it comes to wrestling.
Well, I mean, go ahead.
Who else is in the GOAT conversation? Obviously Stone Cold, Hulk Hogan, Ric Flair, Dusty Rhodes, The Rock. And for all of those people, I guess some people, newer fans would maybe say Cena, but for all of those people, I feel like there's an argument that Jericho's better in certain ways. And I am the biggest, for the longest time, to me, number one was Ric Flair with a bullet. Like, no one but you look at Ric Flair, there's the counterpoint. He never reinvented himself like Jericho. You with Stone Cold probably had the biggest impact, but he didn't have the longevity.
No, if you listen to Pyramid Wrestling last week, they made an excellent point calling Stone Cold, he was the Beatles of wrestling, because he wasn't around very long, but when he was, I thought that was a hell of a point that they made.
Yeah, so. I agree with that. I think impact-wise, Stone Cold, he's the top. And Taker's even in the argument, but Jericho's been around almost as long as Taker. Like, he's right there in longevity, and he's still doing it. And right now he's in a program, he's in a storyline that's been going since September.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, he's still top level. There's you're not watching the shell of a man who has that star name go.
And he's and he's not being not willed out. I shouldn't say that, but he's not being brought out once a year at a Mania to have a match.
Exactly.
He is there weekend, every Wednesday night. He's there every week. He's still full time. He's not coming and going. You know what I mean? Like, he's an active roster participant.
And again, if you want to nitpick and compare, looking at The Undertaker, at the end, he couldn't perform like he did in the beginning. He wasn't the same Undertaker. Jericho's the same.
Yeah.
You could compare him to everybody, and you're gonna come up to some reason why they're not Jericho.
Yeah, and he's changed his style, his wrestling style, to fit his age. Is
Yep.
he doing as many high flying stuff as he used to? No, but he still hits that lion salt. There's still echoes of that.
Yep.
And he brings in he brings in the Judas effects as a finisher because he knows he doesn't want to keep it lessens his bump card. He doesn't have to put a bump on his card every night by doing the code breaker.
Yep.
So he's smart. I think he's one of the more brilliant minds in pro wrestling.
Well, and knowing that hearing that everybody in AEW, he has a line a mile long waiting to talk to him
Right.
backstage. That lets you know everybody else knows it also.
Yeah, if his peers are lining up to talk to him, that says a lot too.
Yeah.
So, and just to go back on a little point about this Broken Skull session, I know everybody's, what's going to happen is the Forbidden Door being broken down. No, it's not. But what I'm excited about is now I believe we have a chance to at least see these guys go into the Hall of Fame.
Oh, yeah.
So that's what gets me excited, because Jericho belongs in a Hall of Fame. Big Show belongs in a Hall of Fame. Christians. So I could definitely see them reaching out and having these guys come in for that at least. So that's to me, that's a big thing.
What a guy to go on a podcast on the WWE network and put over guys like Orange Cassidy, Hangman Page, Omega, the Bucks. He's putting them over hard.
Yeah.
As he should.
Yeah, and kudos to Steve Austin. But Austin's so good at that job. At interviewing guys, and he doesn't shy away from the hard questions. And when there was a lot of people out there saying, oh, they might say AEW, but they'll skirt around it a little bit, it's like, dude, do you listen to Stone Cold's podcast?
Yeah.
Have you watched Broken Skull?
Yeah,
he doesn't shy away.
I don't know that there's a better interviewer in the game right now, better than Stone Cold, when he has somebody on there. How he breaks things down and hearing his wrestling mind talk about things. I could watch him, the Broken Skull sessions, or listen to his podcast all day long.
The thing I love the most about watching Broken Skull sessions is watching how into the conversation Steve is.
Oh, yeah.
When the other guy is talking, how Steve is so locked in to what they're talking about. He's not just waiting to talk. He is completely into the conversation.
Here's kind of to piggyback off that a little bit. This is my favorite thing that he does is he'll ask a question and then he's leading it, asking a question. And then the guy says, well, I want to take it back. He'll go, all right, okay, take it back. Let's talk.
Let's talk about it. Yeah.
He does it. Like if the guy wants to say something, he'll cut off completely what he's talking about and go, okay, all right.
Yeah.
Let's go to this.
And you see his passion for the business and how much he still loves it and how much he still studies this stuff, and like little things that we might not notice that he notices because he was in the ring. Like little things like he'll point out to Sasha Banks when he had her on a show with Bailey, and it's just so awesome. Like I could take his view all day long.
Yeah.
So
just a little peek behind the curtain too. Tom hasn't watched the Broken Skull sessions yet.
No, but I will.
Yeah, I just want everybody to know. He hasn't watched it yet.
Thanks, Nate.
Me and Chad's watched it, just so everybody else knows. Tom hasn't.
But I will, and that doesn't mean I didn't already know that Jericho was the GOAT.
You threw the staple under the bus.
I had to.
Wow.
I had to.
Well, he's the Rock. He's putting a rock over the staple.
On that note, I think that's going to wrap us up. Anybody have any final thoughts?
No.
I'll never get those last two nights back again.
Mania was
bad. Broken Skull Sessions was good. Jericho's the greatest.
If you can
see you next week,
say Mania was good. If you can tell me with a straight face that this Mania was a good Mania, I don't know if I can take your opinion seriously anymore.
Hey, this is an open invitation. If somebody has an argument as to why this was a good WrestleMania, hit us up. We'll have you on. I want you to argue your point.
This is the open challenge. Sneed just said an open challenge to anybody.
Come on,
take them up on it.
Talk to the Turnbuckle debates about why WrestleMania 37 was good. Just
good.
If you have the argument, let me know because I want to know.
I'd love to hear it.
All right, well, that's going to wrap us up for this week. We will be back with you on Thursday for the main event show, the Turnbuckle Tavern. Tom, where can they get your stuff again?
At Wrestle and Fig Fed on Twitter and Instagram, and search Wrestle and Figure Federation on all your podcast platforms.
All right, we will be back with you next Monday with more debates. Court is dismissed.